guess I want to do this documentary because I've been dealing with rheumatoid arthritis my entire life. And I think after so long of being on prescription medications, sometimes they don't help, sometimes they do, but nothing ever really feels like enough. So looking for alternative ways to maybe help that, find relief in other ways, just to explore different options that maybe someone else might be able to relate to.
Oh, just late last night, he had a fright. 3 tall brown bears wanted to fight.
Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and there's a big misconception with it because when someone hears that you have arthritis, the first thing they usually say is like, oh, my grandma has that. But there's a difference between rheumatoid and osteoarthritis. The rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder where your white blood cells kind of attack your joints. So there's a lot of inflammation in those areas.
So now we're going to try to get some fluid. And you're going to feel some pressure, okay? Okay. Any pain?
No.
Are you sure?
It's
there we go. So you got the fluid coming out? You got it? What? You didn't get the shot? Come on. There you go.
My left knee was about twice the size of my right knee last year. So I had to go into the doctor, and he put a super long needle under my kneecap to drain all that excess fluid. Sometimes you can just do like a combination of ice and heat, rest, elevation. If it doesn't resolve itself, that's when your doctor needs to step in and do something about it. Is that bad?
Well, it means there's inflammation going on. That's all it means. Which when you're looking at your knee.
My boyfriend helps me out a lot when I'm in a lot of pain. There was one summer where we were hiking at Allegheny, and I don't remember what trail we were on, but it was a moderately difficult one. When we were about halfway up, I realized that we went too far. I had to keep stopping and sitting down, and when I realized that I couldn't keep going, I was afraid to try and walk back down because the pain was like pretty sudden. I kind of had a little bit of a panic attack because we were halfway up a mountain, like no cell phone service obviously. We just had to sit there and wait for me to calm down and be able to walk again before we could go back down. So that was scary. I could tell he was freaking out, but he was trying to keep calm to make me calm. But it all worked out. I'm still here. When we got to the salt cave, I was curious, I think would be the right word, because I really didn't know what to expect, but I knew it was going to be cool.
The salt cave is a room that's a man-made room, and the idea is to mimic the microclimates of the actual salt mines in Europe. So what we've done is imported 20,000 pounds of salt in from Poland. The walls are coated with salt, big rocks. You walk on 3 to 4 inches of salt. And then additionally, we have the magic, which is the halo generator, and we infuse salt into the air.
When we got to the salt cave, I was super excited. I felt like we were welcomed there. And it was nice to look around and to see they had all different sizes of salt lamps. They had like sculptural salt lamps, which I thought was really different. You could buy bath salts, the night lights, the candle holders. I thought it was really cool to see all that stuff. When we went into the cave, the first thing I thought when they opened the door was, oh my god, this is so cool. It was so pretty, it looked so serene and relaxing. And walking like barefoot on the salt, it was almost like being on the beach kind of, and you're like walking on the rocks. That's what I pictured in my head, I think. I was like, this is like a salt beach. And then with the halo generator, you could taste the salt in the air, which was kind of cool.
I tell people that the salt cave is like a salt lamp on steroids. So being in our salt cave for 45 minutes is like 4 to 5 days at the ocean. A lot of that is the negative ions that are produced. And these negative ions are the good guys. It's actually the positive ions that are produced in our everyday things, from TVs, from cell phones and microwaves. Positive ions are pollution, and these negative ions sweep in and they neutralize those positive ions. And what it does is helps people to think clearer, helps them to decrease stress, have some peace and restfulness. So like when they say to put a salt lamp in your bedroom, it helps promote rest.
I was kind of surprised at how quickly I felt the difference. I wasn't sure what it was going to do for me really with my arthritis and like other things that go along with that. But when we walked out, immediately it was like my sinuses felt so clear and they didn't even feel clogged before. It helps with your respiration and your circulation, and I think I definitely felt that. So I felt a lot of relief, especially like in my head, because I get headaches a lot. With the pressure released, that was definitely, like, it felt really good. When we first walked in to Buffalo Alternative Therapy, I was not surprised. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but we walked in and I wasn't surprised. And I was like, yeah, this looks like somewhere I would get acupuncture at. And then they had the map with all the other different community acupuncture locations across the country marked on it. So I guess you could definitely feel the sense of community when you went in there.
I think like most things in medicine, we have an idea of what's really happening, but the more you look into the research, the more we're still not fully sure what's happening on a lot of levels. Sort of my joke with people is if people have any complicated medical history, acupuncture is great. If you need your appendix out, if you need emergent surgery, if you break a bone, Western medicine is amazing. But if there's something where you're in chronic pain and have a chronic issue that is not being resolved, sometimes acupuncture is actually much better. Some people think it's magic. It's not. You know, your body has a really good ability to take care of itself, and I'm just kind of sticking needles in people and letting you do all the work. Acupuncture is actually inserting needles into the body at certain specific points along the body. In Chinese medicine, you have a life force called qi. So when things go wrong, if you have a muscle spasm, headaches, things like that, the flow of qi gets blocked, and acupuncture allows that to flow freely.
I was the first person in the room to get the acupuncture done. While I was starting to like calm down and drift off a little bit, I don't know if this is probably going to sound creepy, but it was kind of cool to see it getting done to other people. Because when he was putting the needles in me, I wasn't really watching, but I felt more comfortable watching it getting done to other people after it already happened to me.
Western terms, the insertion of the needles decreases some nerve sensations, it reduces inflammation, and it brings fresh blood to the area, so it helps speed the healing process in some ways. A lot of people are fearful of needles, and that's just because they've had either vaccines or have had blood drawn or an IV, and those needles can be kind of big and not so painless.
When I was sitting there with the needles, it was kind of like my whole body felt tingly. Like there was one point where I had to like move my leg a little bit because I couldn't tell if it was asleep or not. I kind of like lost sensation, and that was like a huge relief. So when we got up and were walking out, it was like I didn't feel the pressure in my body. For my arthritis specifically, I would go back to acupuncture, especially with the pain in my legs. I feel like that helped a little bit more in that aspect. I don't think any of those things could replace the medications that I take. If I were in remission and did, any of those things regularly, that might help. Ooh, sorry.
What happened?
Oh, I just flung dirt at you.
Oh. It's okay. I didn't even notice.